This year, 2024, is actually the first year that I am ever attempting to grow cauliflower from seed. And so I've done a couple of videos earlier this season documenting the process of I'm going through to grow this cauliflower. And in this video, I want to add to that. Now that the cauliflower is planted out in the field, and it has been continuing to grow there for the last few weeks or month, and so now I want to move ahead in continuing to try to figure out how I can get a productive yield from this crop. So I specifically want to detail the process that I'm going through with weeding techniques, mulching, adding compost, and all that in this video. Alright, so this setup I feel like is getting pretty close to almost like my ideal for agriculture. I've pretty much gone through and weeded out most of the weeds in this cabbage patch. Of course, I also have peas growing down here as well. And then, yeah, that's the cabbage, or the cauliflower, cauliflower patch, not the cabbage. And then here I have the golden Alexander's native umbelliferous crop that flowers relatively early in the season, usually after the dandelions have their huge flush of spring flowering. The golden Alexanders will then pop out after that, and they can attract beneficial insects as well. And so I have some cabbage, so I have some cauliflower, golden Alexanders, and then a row of peas on each side of that, going down this row a little bit. I only have a few golden Alexanders plants because I'm continuing to propagate them out. But yeah, last week I had gone through and weeded out a lot of weeds. I did some selective weeding, so I didn't weed out everything. We can see some common ragweed down here. I left that for now. There's some oxalis down this way, and I've left that. And then I've also gone and mulched with grass clippings, right? So the grass clippings can have nitrogen when they're fresh, when they're green. You can see they're pretty tan now for the most part, at least on the surface. And you know, they're a little bit more green down below. Not much at this point, but yeah, those grass clippings will help to add nitrogen, some minerals, and then also provide temperature and moisture buffer between the soil and the air to help balance them out and regulate to prevent any extremes of moisture evaporating, making the soil dry, which could cause plant stress for the cauliflower. Or also when it gets colder at night, the grass clipping mulch acts as a nice buffer, a nice blanket on top of the soil to help hold the heat down inside the soil and to prevent a more extreme swing in temperature in the soil profile, which can also cause or aggravate plant stress for a lot of species, especially ones that are cultivated, right? And so we can see that the cauliflower is sizing up pretty nicely. The leaves are beginning to pop out a little bit more. Definitely it'll be good to make sure that they receive regular water at this point. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish up some weeding, especially down this way, and then I'm also going to add some compost and then put some grass clipping mulch on that. And then what I may do is just water that in a little bit, just so that the nutrients can begin to infiltrate into that soil profile, so it can be more accessible to the plant roots more immediately. Now on some of these cauliflower leaves, we can see a little bit of minor pest damage, relatively minor. I'm not totally sure what that's from at this point in time. I know we have had some slugs, so I'll have to keep my eye out on that. So we can of course see all the weeds that I have weeded out of the garden bed. And what I did that I really want to focus on right now is that I prioritized weeding around the immediate area of each cauliflower plant first before just weeding all of it. I wanted to make sure that I alleviated the immediate stress from the cauliflower plants, you know, even though I was hard pressed during the week to have enough time to get out here to weed them. But I wanted to just make sure that I got that taken care of, and then later, now that it's the weekend, I can come through and weed the rest of it, and spend more time doing that, right? So it's just trying to keep the plants alive, healthy, and just to kind of flow with whatever time allowances you have. For some of these deeper rooted weeds or plants, like the dock or the burdock, or even some of the fleabane, daisy fleabane, or even some of these grasses too, actually. They can have a fibrous root system, which as they get later into spring, they can be harder to uproot. I'm using a little trowel to help kind of excavate these plants, so I can get more of the root as well, so that some of these plants don't just come right back. And then of course what I'm going to do, actually I haven't mulched this section. I might just put the compost down and then I'll put the grass mulch on top of that. Whereas down that way, where I already have the grass clipping mulch down, I think what I'll do is I'll move some of that mulch aside, apply the compost, put it back, and then add some more mulch on top. Alright, so here we are looking at the cauliflower. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull the grass clipping mulch away from the cauliflower plant. I'm going to continue that with the other cauliflower plants in this row. I'm going to apply some compost and then cover it back up, and then add some more grass clippings. Since this grass clipping mulch has been on here a little bit, the soil's pretty loose, really loose. It looks like it's in really good condition, has some darkening to it. There's like a carpenter ant's nest around here too, maybe that has something to do with that. But brassica crops such as this cauliflower are a lot more accepting of higher amounts of compost. Squashes are another plant too, than a lot of other crops. With a lot of other crops, you have to be kind of careful of compost burning plants or being too hot, too much nitrogen. With these brassicas, it's not so much of concern, at least to an extent. So I can be a little bit more generous with the compost application than I would be for a lot of other crops. Also, any like leaves that aren't looking too great, kind of like this, I pick off. You know, I think a general rule of thumb is like if the leaf surface is like 50% not green, it's taking more energy out of the plant. Bucket of compost here I got from my compost bin. Cover that back up a little bit. Alright, so what I'm doing now is I'm just adding in some grass clipping mulch around it. I may also do just a whole layer of new grass clippings as well. And then I'm not going to worry about watering it. The soil's fairly damp right now. It's not wet or anything, but it's pretty good moisture. Oops. And it's supposed to rain tonight into tomorrow, so it should be good. Alright, so thank you so much for checking out this video on growing cauliflower. Hopefully the next video on cauliflower will be involving harvesting the heads. But for now, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Take care.